Legendary breakfast with Ona Bede and Tabile TTO.
www.massivmetro.com. The time right now is 11 minutes after the hour of 8 a.m. in the morning. Good morning to you. If you just woke up, we just drove into the third and final hour of the show, and it just got more iconic. It just got more legendary. Ona, just let them know who we are about to hang out with in this hour.
I'm gonna repeat myself. I said this is a king. I said this is a legend. Everybody knows he's the voice and the spirit of the Lion King. You called him an icon. I think there's so many, amazing words we could literally, call him this amazing man. You were saying that you were nervous even.
I was shaking. I'm still shaking.
Are you still shaking even now?
Shaking, but good morning to you, Mr. Lebo M, and how are you doing this morning?
Good morning, so early. Good morning, how are you?
We're good, sir.
We're good, how are you this morning?
I'm awesome.
We are awesome. Honored to have you here, sir. I'm really honored to have you here.
Very happy to be here.
Thank you so much. Let's just start. The older generation respects and honors your work in every sense of the word. So how would you describe yourself to a younger generation of today that don't know with Lebo M?
Yo. Does the first question have to be that difficult? Coffee.
I can make coffee.
That's why.
Yo,
how would I describe myself? Uncle.
They
call me uncle.
Uncle.
Yeah, uncle. Don't say grandpa yet.
So Uncle Lebo.
Uncle is cool. I like that. Keeps me 26.
Hey.
Somewhere there.
All right. Okay. Now, you seem to be, a passionate person with using or displaying your talents on stage as opposed to other alternative platforms. Why is that?
I love what I do. I'm very lucky, very blessed. It's been a long road. But once you find your passion and you do what you love to do and you get people inspired, nothing makes you wake up excited more than that. So I don't have I've done mostly my career movie soundtracks and the Broadway stage and studio. So that's all I know, and that's what I do, and that's what I love. And you, like I say, if you do something that you love and you get a global reaction and you wake up knowing that something you do, no matter how small or big it is, inspires people, you get inspired every day.
That is true, sir. That is definitely true. And let's talk about you going to exile. What was the reason? What were the reasons for you to also maybe come back from exile?
Well, I'm a proud generation of 76. I'm a Sowetan in Jakutladi. I come from the era of Steve Biko, 1976, Tietsi Mashinini. And at that time, I was the youngest nightclub singer in the country at 14. My first professional job, I'm 14 years old and working at the Pelican in Orlando.
Yeah.
And I think from there, I began sometimes not even knowing preparation for a future in the business. I was lucky and blessed to be surrounded by the best professionals in the country and learn by default. And when you're in environments like that, you don't know that you are learning because you think you're hustling. You're making a little money. But anyway, a lot of young people were leaving the country between 76 and the 80s. Yeah. And I, working at the Pelican, most young people were hanging out at the Pelican after political activity. So when people were leaving the country, Edgar Hole, may he rest in peace, who was a DJ at Pelican, had moved to Massiv, Lesotho, and I went to look for a gig from him. And I didn't know I have to have an ID. I didn't know I have to have a passport. So I left the underground rail route with everyone that was leaving the country. And I woke up and learned I'm in exile. And, well, like push on. You don't cry over, you don't miss mommy. You just, I got a gig. I'll send money home, and you keep your hustle. And the target was America. I left South Africa 1979 with a special arrangement, and ended up in DC and New York.
Yeah.
Wow. And now, having been someone who has, both, contributed internationally and globally, and also in South Africa, what are some of the differences that you've encountered in both industries?
In terms of what?
Of the
in
American,
the business?
yeah.
Well, the thing, that's a very good question. Lynn, when I'm really coffee, or tea?
Can you let tea this morning?
Can you let tea?
Now I'm gonna have to find a comeback.
Well, like, I come from an era that's different from now. The era of making music was about musicians. Musicians today are DJs.
Yes.
Both extremely talented, depending on the era that you come from. And all of us South Africans at that time, and I imagine people globally, going to America was, everyone wants to go to America, and I'm sure that's still the case now. But at that time, the first culture shock, Holland to America in 1979, you have to try to visualize getting on an airplane and thinking, you're going to heaven. And when you land in Manhattan, is the worst ghetto than the ghetto that you came from. So it was a huge culture shock for us, quite frankly. And one had to immediately adjust and adapt to that. So the perception of the American dream basically died. Then the second thing you realize is you'll always be a foreigner. So when I left South Africa, I was an R&B singer and all. I was like, I was pretty good. But the thing about landing in America at that time, when you get that kind of culture shock and being a foreigner, you have two choices. You find yourself who you are, which I was lucky and blessed to once again land in the capable hands of South Africans who were there before me. Rayu, Masikela, Miriam, Letambulu, Kafasime. And I was groomed to focus on the identity of who I am as a South African, as an African artist. And obviously, things were not easy. I lived in the streets in LA for almost 2 years. When I finished high school, did the New York hustle between New York, DC, and LA. Wow. But eventually, you become the best dishwasher, the best car wash guy. I made the best sandwich in LA at that time. Worked at McDonald's and worked my way up. But I realized and learned that it is my true identity, who I am as an African artist, that will get me through. And when you look at your competition, at that time, that Jesus Christ, I went to Duke Ellington High School when my hero is Marvin Gaye. The guy sitting next to me sings 10 times better than Marvin Gaye. And there's 20 million of them trying to be in the spot of Marvin Gaye. Who am I? So being a South African and learning and realizing that I have this little new unique thing that makes high school kids excited, and I got grounded. And that's what led me to Power of One, my first movie. 30 years ago this month, I was doing my first movie in LA.
Wow.
Called Power of One. That's after living in the streets and the whole hustle. But it's the identity, my being myself, my South Africanness. Even if I speak English with an accent, Kiabua and Teta, and all my work is written in my mother tongue. So you learn early. That's why the things I learned at the Pelican and in Lesotho, Big Apple, became more real to me when I realized that, Jesus, that was a learning curve preparing me for this. So I'm a competitor now with the best saxophone player that plays better than my heroes. But I'm a competitor because I can do a Miriam Makeba line. I can do that. Oh, what is that? What is that? Wow. I can go, oh, what's that? I don't have to play a billion notes to say I'm an artist. And that's pretty much the long shot of it.
Wow. We are still hanging out with Uncle Lebo.
That's so cool.
A Massive made sure legendary breakfast. You have any questions for him, do let us know. Hit us up on 074-940-7992, 074-940-7992. In the background right now, the queen of Amapiano, the queen of the dance floor, Kamompela with Nkulunkulu. 25 minutes just before 9 a.m. 25 minutes just before 9 a.m. and we are still hanging out with legendary Lebo M. I still need to up your notch with regards to questions. So, wow. Wow. But anyway, so I want to know from you, I think a lot of people, obviously the young generation knows you as the voice of Lion King, you know, but I want you to tell us more about what other interests you have besides the Lion King.
No, thank you for that one. The Lion King happens to be the biggest film in my career. Before Lion King, I'd done about maybe 4 or 7 other movies. My first movie was Powerful One, and I can't even think of the many other movies I did before Lion King. Lion King blew up in 1994, and the career blew up. From there, the stage production of the Lion King, and been busy since. I do other projects. I do a lot of other movies, but nothing has gotten to the scale and success of global success of the Lion King, both on stage and on film. So we're very lucky and feel blessed to stay busy with that project. And the Broadway show is my greatest pride, because I hire more South Africans and take them around the world.
Absolutely.
Unknown than most productions that come out of this country combined. Probably most productions that come out of the continent combined. We've placed hundreds and thousands of talented young people around the world with over 9 productions before COVID, and in the biggest and best stages. So that's when you get the reward. Is not in the money, the reward is not in the Grammys, the reward in seeing people's lives change because of your work. So that's my greatest joy. I'm one of the 4 principal original composers of the film Lion King. Myself, Elton John, Tim Rice, and Hans Zimmer.
Wow.
And I then moved on to producing. When I set my sight on Lion King has to come to South Africa, Lion King has to come, it took about 8.5 years to broker that transaction at a very huge amount of money. And we were successful in bringing the Lion King to South Africa, the Broadway production in 2007 and 2008. Brokered from Monte Casino to build a venue instead of a gym, and we had the biggest success. Broke all records, including Phantom and Cats. At that time, they had the biggest box office records. But coming out of that Lion King South Africa, we created a new formula how to produce a Lion King around the world. It was the first time where I was able to convince Disney that South Africans can play other roles.
Yes.
Before Lion King South Africa, I was hiring only dancers and singers.
Oh yeah.
I needed to produce a South African production, which became the best production at the time, comparatively to all the other productions around the world. And as a result, we created now principal roles. Silomake played first Mufasa ever, and Brian Timber played the first Simba, and they set precedents that South Africans can play these principal roles. So now the majority of all productions around the world of The Lion King, you will have South Africans in principal roles. Before that, it was limited to Rafiki, and the 2 antelopes and singers and dancers. So that's what makes us wake up in the morning, to know that I had people that walk in my auditions, Kokipis or Merozaj, who never sang anywhere to take a chance, never had a job, never sang in a funeral or a wedding. The pride is 2 months later, we take that person to London or New York, and they start their life. So that's the largest number of people we've hired. Not the professionals that come through agents and stuff like this. So that's pretty much it.
You know what? I was this close Uncle Lebo, this close. I won't lie. I was 19 when I auditioned to be a part of Lion King Germany. And Obab Duma believed in me so much, but I couldn't because I just started varsity, and my mother was like, "Ngeke, you are not going anywhere." So sometimes when I'm listening to you, I'm like, that could have been me.
That could have been me.
That could have been me.
Sure. Now let's chat about the.
But here's your path. Here you are.
Yeah.
And here he is.
Here you. I mean, we could talk. You mean?
Now let's chat about the Lebo M Foundation. What is the work that you guys do, and what is your guys' motto in just helping people?
I use the foundation in many different ways. One, I was never the kind of person that wanted. I used to throw parties and raise lots of money, but I never wanted anyone to know that I'm helping schools. And just as well, but the team around me went and created and registered a foundation and in my early days. So what I do is for example, when I produced Lion King South Africa, we spent a little over 6.5 million rands to bring disadvantaged kids from around the area. So every matinee, every Wednesday, all the seats, we provided food and transport. And so those are the things. I associate the foundation with whatever project I'm doing. When I was producing the opening and closing ceremonies of the World Cup, the FIFA World Cup here, we made sure that over 400 young people were employed through the foundation on behalf of the production. So if I couldn't hire you directly, then we use the foundation. And we raise lots of money for many other things that I do overseas and here.
Absolutely. Listen, we're still hanging out with Uncle Lebo. We're going to get to know from him, the entertainment landscape now versus, back then. I mean, looking at now that we are going through a pandemic and all of that. So we're going to tap into that a bit. Uncle Lebo, I want to know from you, I mean, the entertainment landscape now versus when you were starting out, especially in light of COVID-19 and seeing some theaters really take a knock as a result, so...
We're taking a knock globally, everyone, But obviously our sector got hit the most.
Yep.
Our livelihood depends on people sitting in theaters and stuff like that.
Yes.
So we're slowly beginning to recover. And we must remain hopeful and faithful. In terms of the difference between now and then, I'm a lot more proud of the current wave of businessmen in the arts. We didn't have... I grew up very angry because we come from an era where everything was controlled by the institution of apartheid. Even how we think and how you didn't have the privilege of visualizing Massiv Metro. So my biggest and greatest pride is in the young minds, entrepreneurship in the business, and that one hopes will grow even bigger and bigger. I'm really impressed and very happy. I'm a huge fan. I come also then from when I came back. I'm a huge Kwaito fan.
Come on.
Then the Kwaito, then now you got your Maporisa, you got Mapiano.
Yes.
It gives you pride because I'm noticing beyond the talent, the skill in producing, the talent in being globally competitive is much more stronger now than it was when I was growing up. When I was growing up, we didn't have the opportunities that young brothers and sisters have now. The idea that the entertainment business is a business not limited to making music product on stage.
Yes.
It's also it's commercially viable. You see products now, you see merchandise. I see young brothers and sisters making real money. But the downside of that is also the sad part, where you stumble into money and success and fame by default, and you haven't planned for the downside of it, which is how to manage money, how to handle money, how to really live intelligently, how to be an entertainer on stage and on camera, and how to be a normal person away from it all. The kind of money that people are spending out there is kind of painful to watch, because it means some of us can tell that your career is not sustainable. You understand? If you're going to blow all the money that you're making, when I used to go to clubs, you see young brothers spending very scary cash. But you can't confuse that with career. What we do is actually work. We'll make the glossy cover and put the Lamborghini and all of that, but it's all work. Don't try to live it. Once you live that, then you've lost yourself in the euphoria of the business. Then you lose your business side. Of course, one or two will survive, but we should be thinking that it should be more masses that survive, not one or two individuals that we're proud of. 10, 20 years from now, the young brothers that are making the money should be focused on owning the industry. You can't own or buy something when you're blowing all the cash that you're making. You'll always be working for someone else. In this case, mostly it's foreign companies that are the big five. So hopefully, we some of us who are a little older now, just a couple of years older, are able to impart that, a little bit of that knowledge that, hey, I've blown $2 million in 2 months and feel stupid about it. I would hate for you to do the same thing, because you are confusing the business and the work and the euphoria of it all. But back to the work, I'm very proud of, I was saying to my friend who was coming here, the entire night, literally, I was listening to, and I don't do this all the time, this young talent that blew me away. And every time I turn around, there's talent, there's so much talent in South Africa. But if we don't figure out how to nurture that talent and put business systems in place that protect the talent, I wouldn't know. Rudy Chalma, I think it's a new act.
Wow. I don't know. Do you know Rudy?
How do you even know him?
I
didn't sleep, huh?
Let's just hold it right there.
Uncle Lebo, guys. Uncle Lebo's
I'm all over
with the jams.
I'm all over.
We'll come back. We'll talk about that person. Let's just pay the bills quickly, Uncle Lebo. Let's talk about the reality show on Showmax. Hey. You can, people love reality shows.
That's my business.
That's your business. Because
Okay.
Let's talk about the show on Showmax. I mean, you show a lot of personal tension in your family. I mean, why did you choose to let the world in on that? And how do you feel about being so exposed? And in addition, how much you have shared with us through your craft?
I actually still ask myself, how did I end up doing a reality show? Honestly, because for years I've been asked. My kids were making jokes about we are really the crazy bunch, and Kardashians is nothing. How I think I got sold on it because most people, the team that put it together initially. Well, they sold a really nice script, Mr. M, no one really knows you. We just give a hint behind the scenes, and then they use the whole corona ticket, that, the most beautiful thing is when the year ends, people want to hear human stories coming out of the trauma of corona, and, we'll have a very relaxed atmosphere, and because one is always looking for ways to participate as a South African now, as a human being, not as a brand or product named Lebo M. I was really sold on that. I was sold on, and I'm aware that very few people know me as a person and as a human being, and most people know my work. I've kind of enjoyed that around the world for years, but I'm also a very passionate South African, except I will never run for politics. I have a voice, and the project, I'm now conflicted because I don't know what I think and how I feel about it, to be quite frankly, because the plan was to go this way and the product went that way. Oh, this is.
Yeah.
And of course, I know I've watched reality, and I know it is spontaneous and all of that. But some things when you dream of, be careful what you dream of, what you commit to, because you get surprises on the way. The long short is that we woke up as now producer of this thing and realized, shit, this show got emotionally hijacked by a third force, and now you're running to keep the storyline that you had, but the energy behind the scenes is basically taken over, and you really don't have control of what the director's vision was, what the original vision was, because now there's a lot of energy. While we were shooting, there's a war behind the scenes, you know, and there's hyenas trying to get in, and so unfortunately, I'm not sure if I'm gonna. Now I've done something on television. There's apparently a big demand for season 2, season 3. Well, probably
that was actually the follow-up question. It's like, okay, after all this, you know, that you've shared with us, and you know, this immaculate reality show that basically, you know, brought us into your world, can we expect a
hint,
2? Just a little bit. Can we expect a season 2?
We're talking about it now extensively, and everyone is worried. I'm more worried that I'm not inclined to go that direction, but we are conceptualizing. If we end up doing season 2, it's got to be like somewhere near what we envisioned with season 1. It still must be entertaining. It still must have all the stuff. Failing which, we have 2 or 3 other options that we're looking at. It will still have all the elements, but you can't create a product and lose it by a third force emotionally that then you end up trending.
You know, Uncle Lebo, we're running out of time, but I want to know from you, once this is all done, you know, what do you want to leave behind? Like, in terms of words maybe used to describe you and your legacy once you're gone.
I always get asked that.
Yeah.
I'm not 80 yet, so I'm not trying to think that way.
Uncle Lebo's in the building.
I'm honestly not trying to think that way. Well, my biography comes out this year.
That's
but
amazing.
It's not about when am I gonna die. I keep high. But anyway, I'm dizzy. But you know, you plan your life accordingly. You know, I'm not planning to you know, your work is your legacy. You can't oversell your work and your legacy. You know, your work is your legacy. So if my work has not translated itself already into a legacy, I'm not going to crack my head planning and plotting on it. But when I'm 80, chilling somewhere in beautiful sunset, then I start thinking like that.
Now, Chato, before we actually let you go, Chato asked about this song, Moya Wami, My Heart Sings. Let us know about it, because it's a brand new single.
It's a brand new single, and this is the first time it actually plays on any radio. So in the world, seriously. The
camera shoot us season 2, no.
Like season 2. This is the first episode.
This song came out in the midst of the trauma of COVID. You know, it's a prayer for humanity in a way, but it's got a lot of mixed stories in the lyrics, and it's also very personal. Coming out of the reality show and the scars out of it. You know, so I wrote the song was basically. My mind was all over the place in terms of what can we say to humanity, what can we say to self in terms of healing. So it's for me, it's my first single in 25 years, and we're about to do my album now.
He's not even 25, but let's wrap up.
Uncle Lebo, thank you so much for waking up and taking the time
pleasure
of your legendary life and coming through to hang out with us. We are so grateful for all the work that you have done for us, you know, the world, and just Africa. And yeah, guys, we're back tomorrow, same time, same place, right here on the Rocking Real and Relevant Massive Metro. It's been another installment of Legendary Breakfast with myself, Tabila TTO, and of course, Una. We'll be back again tomorrow and doing the most. It's been a takeover.
Yeah, I am Nalina Barata Petekes. Goodbye.
Legendary Breakfast with Ona Bete and Tabile TTO.